All right. Does anyone have a blast off meme? Monday Newsday. Why are liberals claiming the election was stolen? Lib election conspiracies. Thank me for my service, Hassan. Yes, that's right. Happy Veterans Day. Lib election conspiracies. Trump cabinet demons. Hogwatch and more. Thank me for my cervix. Thank you for your cervix. Anyway, do we have a blast off meme chat or no? There's a liberal Starlink conspiracy that I think is sick. I love that. I love that liberals are going crazy with it. Thank you for your service, everybody. Okay, I don't think we have a. It doesn't seem like there's any motion on the blast off meme side. We've fallen. We used to be a nation. We used to be a nation, dude. We used to be a respected nation. You see the Rihanna tweet with Kai? Almost 1 million likes. I did not see that. Restart stream? No, I already blasted off. Fuck it. YOLO. Oh, Nicholas Fuentes is like super doxxed, apparently. And that's like crazy too. I fear that things like that are, I mean, I have no opinion on this, you know, aside from he's a fucking neo-Nazi and he should never feel so comfortable being this much of a overt, open neo-Nazi. It's wild that people are taking matters in their own hands, you know. Thirst dog of the day, yeah. Thirst did it. It should be known that the house he lives is a multi-family unit, and it seems that people not affiliated with him do live there, just so people don't act the fuck up. Yeah. What is this? My body's attempting to get the best of me.
Joe Rogan of the left. Okay, well, you have people like Hassan. Well, no, that's not going to work because all Hassan does is shit on the Democratic Party. Y'all fucking hear yourselves? You know, for an ideology that's built first and foremost on its support for capitalism, liberals really seem to struggle to understand basic supply and demand. You don't think people have had this thought before that, oh, we need a left of center pipeline? Why do you think it fails time and time again? You want an ideological pipeline like the right has, and to a much lesser extent like the left has. The reason you can't have that is because liberalism as an ideology, especially right now, is incoherent. The contradictions of capitalism have never been more obvious, and yet the Democrats have made themselves the party of sticking to the institutions until the bitter end. What the hell? So when you're like, oh, the Democrats just need podcast bros and that'll fix everything, that is not a priori the problem. Like, the problem is not with the messaging, it's with the message. We live in a time of several crises and a deep desire for radical change, a complete upending of the situation, and Democrats' vision for the future was $50,000 in home loans. Do you understand what the fucking problem is? Like, the reason Hassan works is because he has an ideology that can point to you the reasons as to why things suck. Democrats are only ever going to cape for the systems and try to gaslight you into believing that things don't actually suck. This is not a communications problem. This is an ideology problem.
100%. Absolutely correct. No notes. Straight up. It's true. It's like you can't message your way out of this. You can't unleash a million Harry Sassans upon the land and get people on board if the top of the line message is not good. Those guys are party loyalists. They will communicate whatever you need them to. Okay, it's funny you watching this because I just got this on my TikTok. Yeah, I saw this one earlier. The thing is, unleashing a million Harry Sassans on the heartland is not going to change people's material conditions, their material circumstances. You have to make sure that the message, the top line message, is good. If the top line message is bad, then the Harry Sassans, the loyal soldiers of the Democratic Party, are unfortunately going to be pushing a shitty message. Majority Report, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Anyway, the other reason why I'm late is because I was talking to Wall Street Journal this morning. So, you know, like a lot of people are reeling from this massive L that the Democratic Party took. And in that process, they're in that process, they're basically trying to figure out, like, do we go back to the old ways? Do we go back to the old messaging? And many people at the top are saying, yes, please, let's just do the old thing. Okay. And the only method that they have, you are the personable coroner for the moment. The only method that they have is still going right. Is crazy. They only know how to go right. So they're just trying to message their way out of this by being like, how about we do the same thing and we tack to the right and say, we write out trans people completely. And it just feels like it feels like it's making me lose my mind a little bit. Democrats are realizing woke is broke. Morning Joe Crew reads entire Maureen Dowd column slamming identity politics. Kamala ran as a transnational gang prosecuting cop linked arm in arm with Liz Cheney. What campaign do these people watch? And it's like, I think one thing that hasn't been talked about, I guess, as much is perception. Okay? It's perception. Is the perception of the Democratic Party broadly defined by right-wing commentators? Yes. And right-wing commentators don't tackle the issue head on. They make up straw men to present you as, okay? They make up unhinged straw men. They say stuff like the Democratic Party is the party of like kitty litter in school classrooms. And in this current way where misinformation runs rampant, okay, and everyone is seeking out their own personal echo chambers and they don't give a shit about what the truth is, there are a shit ton of right-wing broadcasters that also echo that sentiment where they're like, yeah, you're right. The Democratic Party is the kitty litter party. So then they mistake that as the way people are, transphobic. We're too pro-trans. Like, they weren't even pro-trans at all. They never said anything about fucking trans people. Issue is, if you don't have any real material solutions to the problems that people are experiencing, they can basically write you as whatever the fuck they want to on the right, which is what they're doing. They're doing that successfully because you are rudderless. You are constantly retriangulating to a marginally less bad version of the right party. If that's what you're doing, then yeah, you have no values. You have no firm commitments to anything. Okay? You need to have you need to be a party that stands for something. If you're not, then yeah, people are gonna just like make up shit about you, and people are gonna and people on the ground are gonna believe it. Isn't one of the biggest problems that liberals refuse to identify what areas are actually right? They refuse to acknowledge the shift. Election must have been bad if your beard is going gray already. No, brother, I'm 33 years old. My beard has been going gray. Less than 2 weeks ago, this is another thing that I called, by the way. Less than 2 weeks ago, neocons were boasting that they had taken over the Democratic Party. This was the second time in the century this faction has wrecked a national coalition. Here it is, the bulwark.
But here was the thing about the cheering that I loved.
This is like supposed to be the center-right, never Trump Republican central. And look at the realization that they came to.
Speaking of Stonewall, but also I think it's amazing when you get 75,000 presumably libs on the ellipse.
Didn't you call this out when a trans chatter was complaining that they weren't advocating for trans people? You warned them that when they lose, they would become transphobic? Yes.
And she's like, we're going to have the most lethal fighting force. And people are like, yeah. And she's like, and we're going to secure the border. And people are like, yeah. And I was just like, and she's, we are going to be leaders in the world. And we're not going to let these guys push us around. And I was like, man, the world's really changed.
Did the neocons just take over the Democratic Party?
Look, he goes, don't even joke about that. Look.
And the world's really changed.
Did the neocons just take over the Democratic Party?
Don't say that.
Yeah.
It's gross, but it's the truth. It's gross, but it's the fucking truth. And let me take it one step further. Months and months ago, I told you guys, like last year, a couple years prior, I told you that there was a limit to how much the way that the American public was going to perceive support for Ukraine in a positive manner. And this is not about the moral position, okay? I'm not making a moral position here. I'm not, because the morality of the situation is clear. Ukraine has a right to freedom. Ukraine has a right to defend itself from Russian invasion. But I told you for years at this point that people were going to look at the situation and go, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why are we just giving unlimited billions to Ukraine? Because Americans are deeply selfish. They see that as like straightforwardly a continuation of war, and not just about Ukraine, but Gaza as well. Okay? I told you that Americans were going to be like, dog, my egg prices are so fucking high. Why are you giving money to other people overseas? Okay? That's it. Donald Trump very successfully tailored himself by lying as the guy who was going to end that shit. And it's dumb. It's fucking dumb. Bro, you are delusional. Trump supports Israel. Do you think I don't know that? Are you fucking stupid? Are you dumb? That's not what this is about at all. We're talking about perception. Narrative is more important than truth, okay? That's it. We live in a post-facts world. We live in a post-truth world. Narrative trumps truth. Narrative trumps facts. And Donald Trump was able to, regardless of his track record on this issue, whether it be Israel or whether it be, continuing wars in general, okay, was able to successfully say to Americans, guess what? No new wars under my administration. I'm going to fucking end Ukraine. I'm going to end Gaza. Okay? And for a lot of Americans, they were like, I don't like war. Why are we giving so much money overseas? Fuck it. Now, is he actually going to do that? Fuck no. And I said that as well. Okay? So more censorship of misinformation. How do people get his attention? The video I sent earlier is perfect for this discussion. So more censorship for misinformation. I don't know how we solve this problem, especially because it's weird to come to me as a left voice who absolutely is targeted more than your favorite right-wing content creator. Okay? And the reason why I'm targeted is not because I'm secretly a reactionary or secretly have like anti-Semitic tendencies or anything like that. I am straightforwardly targeted because I speak out about our unconditional death spiral allegiance with the nation state of Israel. Okay? I promise you, there are very few right-wing content creators that get this actively hounded, okay? And the reason for that is because of my opinions or my coverage, my consistent coverage on, what is this? People are fighting under my tweet as we speak about how you support terrorism, Lamau. Exactly. So, like, the point is, for a lot of Americans who value themselves as, like, anti-war, who see themselves, no joke, your stalkers yesterday said, your streams chats for free to search for anti-Semitism law. I know it's fucking insane. And it's especially crazy because like there are people who come in here and say unhinged shit. And there are people who hate raid, you know what I mean? And we fucking ban them. It is so nutty that people are personally taking it upon themselves to do this, you know? Anyway, leftists can factually list out Republicans' values, but the right has no fucking clue what leftists believe, and yet they control the narrative. Facts don't fucking matter. Yeah, I forgot where we were at with this conversation. But would you consider watching this as a fantastic video? Potentially. Yeah. That Empanada is like such a funny human being because he's so unhinged, like so utterly deranged, while also simultaneously so brilliant. Like, he has yelled at me for not being sufficiently pro-Palestine. He is the number one, like, troop exploder type guy. I think at some point that was literally his Twitter username. Like, if you were to see any number of different Twitter accounts that he has had and has been banned from, and the types of insane shit that he says, okay, you'd be like, this is very clearly a mentally deranged guy. But if you were to exclusively watch his, like, YouTube coverage, his very well thought out and very well sourced YouTube videos, you'd be like, wow, this guy is fucking brilliant. It is I don't know. He is just so deranged, but also so knowledgeable. And I've always had this position on him, regardless of like our back and forth over time and our disagreements. It's just like, I just wish he wasn't so insane. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's an E-Up Lovely type person, exactly. But I mean, even crazier than that. Holy shit, I've only watched his YouTube content and I didn't know about derangement. Yeah, if you only watch his YouTube content and have no idea what kind of rabid, pathic shit that he says on like every other social media platform, you'd be like, wow, what a brilliant guy. What a well-crafted YouTube essay that is well-sourced, well-crafted, has like pretty convincing arguments. And then you see the way he tweets and you're like, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard anyone say. Why would you ever say that? It's funny because, he's just like, you are a mentally deranged person. And he really is. Burden of being Australian. I'm not going to give you any examples of this because I don't even know what his fucking accounts are right now. He's constantly getting banned. And I'll say this, he's constantly getting banned for good reason. Okay? Just watch his YouTube stuff. Just watch his YouTube content and leave it at that. That's the thing I'll say. He's the perfect foil for Drew Pavlovs of the world. He's fucking insane. Like, this is what I mean. Watching Bad Empanada and Drew Pavlov is like watching Tom and Jerry. Yeah, he is an insane person. He is actually an insane person. He hates Drew Pavlov, which is understandable. I mean, many people do. Anyway, we'll get to his stuff in a little bit. I've said it before, but I love that Drew Pavlov will never change PFP because it was the thinnest he will ever be for the rest of time. Ooh, scathing remarks. Anyway, where did this Drew Pavlov guy come from? I think he's a Cypriot Greek who is like a right-wing attack dog against China and has been funded by like psychopathic billionaires in the past. He's just a cheap hatchet man for right liberal, American foreign policy positions. Like, that's it. That's his shtick. He's been arrested for making bomb threats to Chinese embassies. Yeah, he's fucking nuts, dude. At Empanada is Greek Australian too, by the way. Yeah. So what have we learned from this? Greek Australians mentally unwell, but can be good or can be very bad. Oh, this is the best way to explain him. Yeah, Bad Empanada on YouTube versus Bad Empanada on Twitter. Yeah, this is how he is. Yes. Do watch that video. It's very good. Yeah, we'll watch that video later. So, what is this?
If you're the Democrats, what are you going to do for the next 2 years? How do you regroup?
Therapy. We're all going to therapy.
Like, that's how you know, dude. That's the difference between fucking liberals who are incredibly wealthy and incredibly out of touch, okay, versus people who do care about what's going on. My immediate reaction to this massive defeat was, one, obviously the Democratic Party needs to fucking fix everything, and they suck. But more importantly than that was to immediately start trying to figure out ways to organize and defend one another, okay? Like, oh, we'll just go to therapy. Okay, you can't therapy your way out of your immediate family members being deported from this country. You can't therapy your way if the Trump administration is now saying they're going to start targeting people who pro-Palestinian voices with the Esther Project. You can't therapy your way out of the regulatory agencies getting further crippled and the fucking water supply that we already have, the natural water supply we already have that is already poisoned, getting extra poisoned. Like, there is no therapy that will protect people. Therapy is only good in this circumstance if it just like upsets you. If the Trump administration and his victory is just like hurt your feelings. Okay? Like, this is so, it's so different than just saying like, oh, I'm just going to go to therapy. I don't like that.
Why are we here? There's nothing. If you're a Democrat, all we can say is we hope that Susie decides that she's going to take a long vacation, that they hire some terrible people and make some mistakes to give us a chance, right?
Jokes like that stigmatize therapy. I mean, I'm not even talking about that right now. Like, therapy is good overall, but it's like, if your answer to this question is like, what are we going to do? If your answer to this question is like, oh, I'm going to go to therapy, I'm going to do a lot of therapy, you're a profoundly unserious person who does not recognize the legitimate damage, the material harm that a second Trump administration is going to cause, now that he is like more overtly malicious as well. He's more vindictive. He has more sycophants around him, and he is ready to let it fucking rip. I think personally, if your answer to all of that is just therapy and not like, we have to organize, we have to make sure that we have more solid institutions that are outside of the scope of the immediate political party system. Like, there is no ACLU equivalent any longer. We need to ensure that there is some semblance of legal defense that we can mount towards all of the battles that we are going to have to take on to protect migrants, to protect trans people, to protect women, to protect women's right to have bodily autonomy, to women's right to get an abortion. Like, this all requires tremendous amount of political action, okay? And it's very frustrating that, like, your only response to this is like, oh, I feel bad. Like, is that the worst thing? Is that the worst aspect of Trump taking over the reins of this country? Yeah, if you're like a rich media personality, I guess. You know what I mean? If you're a rich media personality, yeah, it's just like kind of makes you sad because the vision of a future that you wanted to design was destroyed once again, okay? You agree with the Democratic Party, you defend the Democratic Party, and that third way neoliberalism has been a disastrous failure. The people looked at that method, the people looked at that vision and said, fuck that, I don't want that shit at all. I'm ready to blow this up. So now your feelings are hurt. You're not thinking about the actual tangible material consequences of a second Trump administration. Okay? You're not. But the majority of people who make under 50K voted for Trump. I'm very familiar. Okay? I know. That goes back to precisely what I'm saying. In an environment where people's real lived experiences are not being addressed, in an environment where people are fucking renters, in an environment where people don't have job security, don't get meaningful wages, like livable wages from a singular job. So now they have multiple fucking jobs. Now they have to do Uber on the side. Okay? They're mad. They're mad about the fucking future. They're angry. They're frustrated that no one is addressing their needs. At least just came to say you're an ass. You didn't help Kamala win and you have a huge audience clown. You are the reason many didn't vote or voted for Stein. I don't know why so many people in this chat that come into this chat to say stupid things like this, like, don't have even a little bit of restraint and are so their overall refusal to like recognize exactly what just took place is very stupid. Like, first and foremost, third party votes collectively could not make up for the resounding defeat that Kamala Harris got in every single state. Okay? Just so you understand. So you're yelling at the wrong thing. You're not even right in this situation. Like, people used to say that about Bernie Sanders, or people used to say that about oh my God, my mom is texting me nonstop. Okay? Stop voter blaming. Stop blaming the voters. Start blaming the campaign. It is always the fault of the campaign. Okay? It's always the fault of the campaign. There is no world in which it's just the voters are too stupid to understand. Like, that's not how this works. You ran a bad campaign. Okay? You did not get people to go out and vote for you. You did not have a captivating message. Here, Ested says, let the replies to this thread serve as politics Twitter warning label, just loud and wrong. I've said this 100 times, but it's not the message, it's the messenger. That is not to say he can't win, he can, but the MSNBC of National Democrats has blinded them to his problems. Them's cleared the field for an unpopular candidate. You do that, when you do that, you get a hard election. He's talking about Biden here. This is May 14th, 2024, not having a primary. Okay? I confess I'm a little unclear on how MSNBC is the reason that the incumbent president didn't face a serious primary challenge. It's very hard to do. Lots of people could have if they wanted to. The last one didn't face one either. The best way to save democracy is to trust democracy, Marianne Williamson. No one clears a field for an incumbent president. That's not how it works. How did Dems clear the field? I'll add to the chorus, sadly, because y'all circled the wagons for your employer after that Politico piece. Hard to take the heart where you're saying today we find out Haberman was one of the stenographers, yada, yada, yada. MSNBCification. That's rich coming from someone who works at a proto-fascist rag, aka the New York Times, that has failed democracy in the moment. Donald Trump descended in the escalator, Christo-fascist, yada, yada, yada. Like, you and your refusal to recognize the inability, or to recognize the Democratic Party's lack of interest. It was both the message and the messenger. Yes, you are right. Estet is wrong on saying it's not the message, it's the messenger. I will say that. Anyway, it is very frustrating. People go, you did not help Kamala win. I cannot outflank the campaign. I am incapable, just like every door knocker is incapable of outflanking multiple millions of dollars of messaging coming from the campaign. Okay? That's the issue. There is no, like, think about it this way, dumbass. If that's how this worked, Taylor Swift would have literally captured the attention of every white woman on the planet and got them to vote illegally for Kamala Harris. That's not how this works. It's so stupid. You think I got more motion than Taylor Swift? You think I got more motion than Beyonce? You think I got more motion than every fucking celebrity that endorsed Kamala Harris? Like, what planet are you living on? That's not how that works, man. That's not how this works. You're a fucking idiot. You're the reason why the Democrats lose all the time, because you're a docile little pig, okay? You're a servile, docile little pig, okay? You just squirm around in your filth every fucking day and eat the slop that is served to you by liberal media. Not a single interest in your mind in trying to analyze things, in looking for an alternative reason. No, I'm just going to be angry all the time and get mad at the fucking voters, even though it is a demonstrable failure of an outreach strategy. And then, not only that, I'm going to go and yell at the one guy who was ringing the fucking alarm bells the entire time. I did not want Donald Trump to win because I understand the danger he presents. Why don't the Democratic Party? Why doesn't the Democratic Party? Because if they truly understood the real dangers that Donald Trump represented to American democracy or America's future in general, okay, then they should have run a better fucking campaign instead of hugging and kissing Liz Cheney, who everyone understood, including but not limited to people in the circle, in the inner circles that were like, why are you doing this? Stop doing this, please. And now, you know, this is the situation we have to fucking deal with.
Right now, they have everything. They got the Supreme Court, they got the Electoral College, they got the House, they got the Senate, they got the popular vote, and we're just sitting here with the dunce cap on. This time last week, we thought we were the smartest people in the world. We thought Donald Trump was an idiot. We thought his campaign made no sense, and it turned out they were smarter than us, and we don't have anything to say. You know, I can sit here and pretend I know something. Here's what I know. Everybody I know is miserable. Everybody's on these Zoom calls. Nobody's got any good ideas, and it's going to take us a while to figure this out. I'm not good at coming in here and faking and pretending like no, we got whooped.
Man, you're gonna go to the spa. You need a massage and a cucumber water, buddy.
I agree. And a cookie.
Cookie. That's right.
All right.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Anyway, let's get to it.
We turn now.
Trump is going to meet with Biden now. We'll see what the fuck that's going to be about, you know?
Now to the latest on the Trump transition. The president-elect is set to meet with President Biden later this week as he focuses on selecting his White House team. Rachel Scott is in West Palm Beach, Florida. And Rachel, the president-elect just nominated a new member of his cabinet overnight.
Exactly, Rebecca. Good morning to you. We just learned moments ago that Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, a top Republican in House leadership, has accepted a role from President-elect Donald Trump to serve as his ambassador to the United Nations. It comes as the president-elect also reveals another key role in his administration, border czar. Overnight, President-elect Donald Trump vowing to crack down on illegal immigration, taking to Truth Social to announce former Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director Tom Homan will serve as border czar. Homan recently spoke at the Republican National Convention, delivering this message to undocumented immigrants.
You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home.
Homan said Trump will carry out mass deportations of the estimated 12 million undocumented immigrants with a, quote, well-targeted planned operation led by ICE. During Homan's time leading ICE during the first Trump administration, thousands of migrant children were separated from their parents. He was recently asked on 60 Minutes if there's a way to carry out mass deportations without separating families.
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
President-elect Trump still hunkered down at Mar-a-Lago, meeting with his advisors, preparing to announce other key positions, ruling out roles for 2 Republicans who served in his first administration, writing, I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration, which is currently in formation. One person who could be influential in the next administration, Elon Musk. Sources tell ABC News that Musk was at Mar-a-Lago, listening in as the president-elect took a congratulations call from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. At one point, Trump even handing Musk the phone to speak to Zelensky himself. While Trump has promised to end the war between Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours, he hasn't elaborated on how. The president-elect preparing to travel to Washington to meet President Biden in the Oval Office this week. Biden set to make the case for the U.S. not to walk away from supporting additional aid to Ukraine, something Republicans have been skeptical of.
The president will have the chance to explain to President Trump how he sees things, where they stand, and talk to President Trump about how President Trump is thinking about taking on these issues when he takes office.
Trump will be strengthened by a Republican.
It's called military Keynesianism. Come on, Jack, look alive. Every bomb we drop overseas is a bomb we must create in Scranton at the manufacturing facilities. This is our job, Jack. This is our goal. It's the engine that drives the American economy. Why? Nasrallah is not a bad guy. It's really interesting that you say that because I have actually mentioned Hezbollah's actions in Syria and how in the broader region, the way they're perceived for those actions is not so positive. But you've probably never seen a clip like that because you're only geared into looking at unnuanced positions. You're only looking at the unnuanced positions and assuming that I'm saying I love Hassan Nasrallah. I really saw plenty and I'm not against you, I promise. Well, if you weren't against me, you would have fucking recognized that I have actually talked about that aspect of it. But that's not the reason why he was assassinated by Israel. The reason why he was assassinated by Israel was also not because he was homophobic. It was because he was resisting. He was a part of the axis of resistance against Israeli incursions, against the Israeli genocide in Gaza. We rarely ever mention that, in fairness. Not only do I mention that, I have talked to literal Syrian chatters in this community. Part of the reason why I rarely ever mention that is because it plays no role in this conversation. It plays no role in this analysis. That's it. Just like it plays no role to be like, oh, well, these groups that are like fighting against Israel's genocidal actions are homophobic or reactionary. It's like, okay, America's homophobic and reactionary. The Easy Company was homophobic and reactionary. America was a segregationist, homophobic nation in World War II, and they were still firmly committed to anti-fascist action. Okay, you still ride for Easy Company, regardless of what the fuck the treatment of gay people look like in the United States of America during World War II. America had segregation during World War II. Does that make their actions any less valid? No. So shut the fuck up. There's a time and place to have these conversations. Okay? The only reason why people cynically bring that shit up is to literally dunk on a group that is already completely ostracized. Okay? Like, that's it. That's it. That's it. It's a silly and very cynical way to just be like, see, I got you. It's so dumb. Noam Chomsky once famously said, yelling about America's foreign adversaries and their own domestic policies is no different than condemning a position from the 16th century. Okay? It's correct. Why is it that people only come in and talk about the shit when we are talking about American involvement? Okay? You know? So dumb. Is it widely known that the ICE guy was appointed by Obama before? I literally only know this because you mentioned it in the past, and I've looked it up further this morning.
Majority in the Senate.
The guy
and on the same day of that White House meeting, Senate Republicans will be electing their new leader. Trump already weighing in, not with an endorsement, but with a demand that the candidates change the rules to allow him to temporarily appoint some nominees without a Senate vote. Trump writing, "We need positions filled immediately."
So Republicans will cast a secret ballot to elect a new Republican leader. It comes as Mitch McConnell is stepping down from Republican leader after serving in that position for a decade.
Yeah, Thomas Homan, the number 1 thumbo on the fucking planet, was, of course, he was going to be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Trump wrote, adding that there is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Interestingly enough, of course, former police officer Thomas Homan and Border Patrol agent, has worked under 6 presidents during his 3 decades in law enforcement. He was the executive associate director of enforcement and removal operations for ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, under President Obungler. During that administration, ICE carried out a record number of deportations. If you recall, that's why I call Obungler the deportation king. Only took 5 days for reviews on your stream to normalize again from 300K to 33K. Brother, if you thought that there was going to be 300,000 people every day tuning in, I don't know what to tell you. No, people have lives, okay? They care about, like, it's like comparing Super Bowl numbers to like regular football season. It's not going to happen, you know? That's the fucking Super Bowl. If I had 300,000 people in here every single day, we would have a lot more people who are class conscious, you know? The entirety of the Democratic Party would be looking at Bernie Sanders as like too moderate, okay? Maybe it'll happen one day. We'll see. Aim for the stars. Yeah. Propaganda czar signing off. Regime defender and propaganda czar Hasanabi Piker signing in from the California Protectorate. Anyway. Reason viewer here, I respect that you address criticism in chat even when it is invalid, but geez, that shit must get old after a while. Take care of yourself. Yes, it does. And it gets annoying for people who are watching, who watch every single day. It gets repetitive and boring and annoying, which is why I try to, keep it at a minimum. The way people talk about gay rights in defense of genocide is the same tune as UK racists talking about how they treat their women over there. Rape is essentially legal only when 1% of reported ending conviction. They don't care about LGBTQ rights or women. We're all just disposable tools for their arguments. Exactly. There is nothing a conservative hates more than conservatives that are brown, okay? For their conservatism. That's the funniest aspect of this. They'll be like, those guys are so barbaric and look at the way that they treat their women. It's like, look at the way you treat your women, dog. What the fuck? We know what you're saying in the fucking off season. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You don't give a shit about this. It's all deflection every step of the way. It's like whenever Republicans that talk about, melting the poor, melting the homeless, will then turn around and will be like, the moment the conversation switches over to immigration, they go, well, what about our homeless population? Why can't we take care of them? It's like, bro, you don't give a fuck about the homeless population. What are you talking about? We know you don't give a fuck about the homeless population. They only care about it as a talking point against another fucking thing, another problem, Or when Republicans will say mental health. Bro, Trump is already elected. They won't change the president because of your opinion. You are not that guy. Put the fries in the bag. Your opinion won't change. God damn it. Yeah. So that's the beautiful part about this is that it doesn't matter who the president is because it's not like I was fully and firmly committed to the Biden administration either. I was incredibly critical of the Biden administration when they were president. And I will continue to be incredibly critical of the Trump administration. Now that Trump is president, I will continue to organize against all of the most awful aspects of his presidency. So the thing is, I'll stand by your side. It doesn't matter if you hate me. It doesn't matter if you think I'm a fucking idiot. It doesn't matter if you think I'm a pussy. I will still defend your rights. And when push comes to shove, when one of your immediate family members is slated to be deported, I'll be there. If that's not the case, if you have no immediate family members that are undocumented migrants, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be something that harms you, okay? That's the difference between you and I. I want you to have health care. You are captivated by a platform of hatred. I, on the other hand, want you to still get healthcare. I still want you to go to college for free. I still want you to have a good job. I want you to have a better future. I want you to be able to fucking own a home. Okay? That's it. That's why I'm perceived as a radical on the left, because of those things that I fight for. And those things are universal values. Okay? That's it. So, shut up, socialist commie freak. Do you think Legault retiring would impact democracy? Yes. And by that, I mean he's going to retire and he's going to run for president, and then he's going to be the president, and America's going to have a Maoist peasant revolution, a Maoist peasant revolt. You know? If LeBron ran for president and asked you to be in his cabinet, would you? I would die. I would die on the spot if that was, if such a wonderful thing ever happened in America. Anyway.
President-elect Donald Trump announced that he will nominate New York member of Congress Elise Stefanik to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She has been one of his closest allies in Congress for years now.
From Lenin to LeBron, okay? LeBron. We are there. The specter is haunting the United States of America.
Statement to CNN, Trump said, quote, I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elise Stefanik to serve in my cabinet as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. So this is just one announcement, a sense of where he might be going in terms of foreign policy. Let's get right to CNN's Steve Conterno for where this fits and what else might be coming. Steve.
Yeah, John, Stefanik is some.
Respect women. What? Pretty obvious Trump was set up to win. He beat a woman once already, but yeah, let's just put him up against another woman. You're right. We should never have women run for president. That's the argument here. It doesn't matter. Woman or man, it doesn't matter. What their background is does not fucking matter, okay? It worked so great the first time. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is silly as fuck. What matters is someone's capability of communicating honesty and authenticity to as broad of a population as possible with good policies, okay? That's it. If it was a man, he wouldn't have won by this landslide. I'm sorry, use the data. Sure. Yeah. It's kind of awful he 2-0 soloed women. I know some idiot Dems will read into that. Yeah. How many chatters you respond to are saying shit in good faith? Not many.
Someone who has been increasingly close with Trump over the years. She was actually one of his, not on the short list to be a potential running mate for Donald Trump. She campaigned pretty aggressively for that job. Ultimately, though, did not make his final three and obviously was not the choice. But she was always in line for a potential job in the Trump administration. And now she takes the job of UN ambassador, assuming that she is confirmed. It's also a job that Nikki Haley once had, interestingly enough, someone who ultimately grew to become one of Donald Trump's biggest rivals in the Republican Party and who will not be part of his administration this go around. She joins Tom Homan as the two people who have already been named to positions in a new Trump administration. Homan will be a border czar. He was, of course, Trump's ICE director in his first term as president. He is someone who has been intimately involved in shaping Trump's immigration policies. He actually wrote an entire chapter for the Project 2025 book on immigration and was a contributor to that. In the last couple of weeks, we have been trying to get a sense of how Homan views the effort of trying to send, this giant migrant movement out of the country. And here is what he said on Fox just moments ago about how he sees that taking place.
I've been clear, President Trump's been clear. Public safety threats and national...
Dude, he is such a fucking hog, dude. He is such a ginormous hog. Like, a terrifying hog.
Security threats will be the priority because they pose most danger to this country. So we're going to prioritize those groups, those who always have final orders, those that had due process at great taxpayer expense, and the federal judge says you must go home, and they didn't. They became a fugitive. Where do operations have to happen? Here's why, Steve. Where do we find most victims of sex trafficking and forced labor trafficking? At work sites. And the Biden administration shut down work sites.
Now, all these decisions are coming from Trump as he stays camped out at Mar-a-Lago in the weeks since his re-election, where he is getting a lot of influence from many of the people who were key to his victory, including RFK Jr., Susie Wiles, who has gone from campaign manager to chief of staff, and also Elon Musk, who obviously was intensely involved in the effort to get Donald Trump elected. He has had an outsized role in shaping the influence around Donald Trump's new administration. We always knew he was in line for some sort of role, potentially overseeing spending, but it has been far more expansive than that. And he has grown apparently close with the Trump family. Take some look at some of the pictures posted to social media by Trump.
What steps are you taking to stop the steal? I'm just kicking back and I'm watching liberals who want to stop the steal. Okay? Because, you know, like I recognize the truth, which is that what? I know you've been stressed lately. I'm sorry for dealing with it. I want to say lower IQ people, but that's subjective. So people you have to grow up. But you're right. Human rights all the way. Okay. I know what the truth is. Okay. The truth is the Democrats lost. They ran a dog shit campaign. They had an unpopular administration and they fucking lost to a guy who's pretty bad and didn't run a great campaign either. Okay. And in a way that in a very similar way to hogs that could not cope with the reality that their God King Donald Trump had possibly lost to a fucking carcass, you know? Now, there's a lot of liberals. There's a lot of liberals out there who are just not coping with this disastrous L in a healthy way by, you know, creating their own version of QAnon-style conspiracies. I like to call Lebanon or Blueanon. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's funny. I didn't realize it was like that dangerous, but it turns out there is definitely, this is a user mag from Taylor Lorenz. Meta's threads is overrun with liberal election fraud conspiracies. Seems like this might become a problem. I genuinely thought that they wouldn't they wouldn't care about it that much. Like they would just kind of take the L and move on and try to lick their wounds, figure out why they lost. But it turns out, nope. You know, when you cheat on a test, you got to get some answers wrong or else it looks suspicious, right? 142,000 likes. Now, I find it really funny because, like, liberals are saying this kind of stuff. Kamala winning by recount would be possibly the funniest outcome. The January 6th would go so hard. Yeah, Francis Wolf is not saying that that's correct, by the way. Like, he doesn't believe that. Breaking, Kamala's campaign says they can overturn Trump's election victory with a recount. Bro, when you said everyone is a liberal, you actually cooked? Yes. Everyone is a liberal at the end of the day. So are Republicans. We're going to be looking at the Blueanon conspiracies right now. This has 16,000 likes. Let's take a look at some of these Blueanon conspiracies, okay?
Little secret, we're going to do really well with the House.
The little secret is not hard to figure out. Elon has a high security clearance and owns Starlink. Where do you think those votes came from? He even knows he's going to prison. They're actually telling on themselves. Bro, the fuck do you make 10 million votes with a recount? You don't. And it's not happening anyway. But I do like it regardless. Let's take a look.
Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Fuck, dude. I'm fucked.
Whatever it is, they will get away with it.
If he loses, I'm fucked.
So how did Starlink, manipulate the election results? Because this is like, I guess, the liberal Dominion voting machines version. And, you know, liberals do, I think, like liberals, even when they're making up conspiracies, like their conspiracies are still very far-fetched because that's what conspiracies are. But even then, it's like within the realm of like, it's more reasonable than Che Guevara and Hugo Chavez used Dominion election voting machines to, I guess, manipulate the results, which is what the Republicans were saying. Both of those people are dead, by the way. That's why I'm saying it's like fucking hilarious. But yeah, who will be our Mike Lindell, I wonder? Some of those machines use Starlink as the internet connection. Okay, but chatters, remember what I told you about paper ballots and how they are the most secure way of tabulating the results. Okay, they still count the votes at the local level. Okay, And if there is also a recount, they can also cross-reference it off of direct paper receipts as well. There is no way that like Starlink could intercept the vote tabulation process and like change the outcomes. Like that's not how SPs work. That's not how that works at all. This is almost identical. This one made me almost cry.
How you guys?
This is almost identical to the way Mike Lindell operated. What is going on? Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Okay, we're looking at Blue Anon. We are looking at Blue Anon right now. It's Libwatch time.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think, will I see my children? I don't know.
Okay.
Kamala Harris is not done. She is, in fact, actually leaving Taylor Swift-esque Easter eggs, and I'm absolutely living for it.
What? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, we have a crisis. Okay, maybe Maoist third world evangelos wasn't super wrong when he said we need therapy. Like, holy moly, there is some serious problems that are left unaddressed. Okay, god damn.
Let me show you what I just found. So for Kamala HQ or Harris Waltz emails, this is typically the bottom of the emails that you're going to receive from them. This email was sent to blank. Thanks so much for being a supporter. Paid for by Harris for president. As you can see, I got this one on November 5th. Obviously, election day. I just happened to go look at one now on the 9th, and this is what I see. The top part is the same. This email was sent to blank. Thank you so much for being a supporter. But now they're making a point to include the Harris Victory Fund. But that's not all. Will be allocated to Harris for President's recount account.
Yeah, because for each individual state where they actually do process a recount, like the candidate has to pay for it. I assume that's the reason why they're what?
All those feelings we had, something's not right, the math is not mathing, what's going on? Don't worry, Prosecutor Kamala is on the case.
We've permitted the Delulu meta for liberal women for too long. Time for a server reset. Nah, I love it. Lean into it, queens. Okay, this is great. Fuck it, YOLO. Yeah, the recounts are not just for like statewide. It is not just specifically for the Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump part of the ticket. The recounts are, there's a lot of very close state races. Okay, there's close congressional races.
I'm not surprised we haven't heard anything about a recount yet, because there are a couple states that are not finished yet. I'm sure that the Harris campaign was really trying to look at the final numbers before they said, okay, let's go. I'm gonna go donate, but just a reminder, as the saying goes, when we fight, we win.
Oh my God, this is my new favorite. This is now my new favorite account. Breaking: New York State could force Trump to live in a jail cell for the entire 4 years of his presidency. No, it will not. What planet are these guys living on? What the fuck? Oh my God. In June 2024, Trump started telling his supporters he didn't need votes. He had more votes than he needs. In October, Tucker said Elon was fucked and would go to jail if Trump loses. Every single state needs a full investigation and recount, including Starlink activity.
Votes that we need. What we need, I tell these guys, I tell even RNC, I tell Michael, I tell Laura, I don't care. We have all the votes.
If he loses, man, what the fuck, dude?
I'm fucked. If he loses, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think, will I see my children? I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay, this has 34,000 likes. Okay, let's watch this one. Oh, no jurisdiction outsources ballot tabulation. They have their own equipment as listed here. Tabulators are not connected to the internet during counting, though after completion and removal of data cards may transmit unofficial counts in a few jurisdictions. That does not mean that Starlink can intercept and change the results. Once counted, people would say, I counted the fucking votes. These are our numbers. This is 9 minutes long. This has 33,000 likes. Oh my God.
I really debated whether or not I was going to sit here and talk about this. I thought about it long and hard yesterday. I know this is probably going to cause controversy, or this is going to cause whatever.
Oh my God. Libs are gearing up for Stop the Steal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Libs are gearing up for Stop the Steal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. No shred of irony. Oh my God. Michelle Baker Harris Walls 2024 Democrat fashion fighter, 63,000 likes. Stop fucking saying that Trump won this election. He didn't. Pay attention to what's happening. We all have access to the same information. This election was rigged by Trump. Leon, oh, I think she means Elon, and Russia. Starlink was used. Millions of votes weren't counted. Wake the fuck up, America. Oh my God. Elon Musk, this is from What the Fuck GOP, dogging Trump. Foul mouth, proud Democrat. Motherfucker is my favorite word. Don't like it? Fuck off. Elon Musk tells Joe Rogan he has an app that can tally votes during the election before anyone else. Starlink has now come into question. Dems won down ballot races in all 7 swing states, but didn't vote for Kamala for president. Can we at least agree that Starlink needs to be investigated now and all swing states do a hand count? I mean, fuck. Trump had GA count ballots how many times last time? 43,000 likes. Oh my God. Oh, look, Elon Musk destroying the evidence. This is 29,000 likes on Twitter. Oh, look, Elon Musk destroying the evidence. Starlink uploaded videos and Musk said he knew the election outcome 4 hours before the rest of us did. Dems won down ballot in swing states, but we're to believe they voted straight Dem ticket, but went for Trump over Harris. Update, according to reports, this was not a meteor, but possibly a Starlink satellite breaking up as it re-entered Earth's atmosphere. Wait, what? What does this have to do with anything? What? So much fishy about this. Trump winning the popular vote after losing it twice. Record turnout, but millions of votes missing. Swing states going blue down the ballot, except for his nomination. Voting machines being hooked up to Starlink. 171,000 likes. Oh my God. Oh my God. These people are doing the same exact shit that Republicans do, which is not understanding a process. And then because of your own personal inability of understanding how this like regular process works, you are now imagining like an alternate scenario. Oh my Lord. Oh wow. I didn't know it was this bad. I did not know it was this bad. I did not realize it was like this, chat. Oh my Lord, Blue Anon is so real. This is worse than January 6th. Or not worse than January 6th, sorry. This is worse than Russiagate. This is worse than Russiagate. Because, like, Russiagate came at a time when, like, we did not have... Russiagate came at a time when we did not have TikTok. Like, TikTok wasn't as active, right? I don't even think TikTok existed back then. I think it was, like, Musical.ly or some shit. And clip this shit. Well, oh, because I say January 6th? This is exactly the same as like potentially January 6th if they get geared enough to do something about it. Oh my God, they're doing Stop the Steal. Oh, this makes me so excited. This is kind of cool. What is this? 30K likes, 39,000 likes, now deleted, claiming Starlink runs on Linux, which inherently cannot count votes from multiple parties. Musk sent Starlink terminals only to swing states for the election. Linux, which is Starlink's operating system, cannot, in simple terms, split or count votes from multiple parties. It would explain why Dems report their vote not being processed. Starlink connects to the internet, which is a big no-no for elections because the network can be hacked. Joe Rogan was told that Musk knew the election results 4 hours before everyone else. Starlink would explain why. I think people are just like saying words because I haven't been able to understand what their argument is for like the ISP. Like Starlink, okay, as an internet service provider can track your movements, okay? For sure. Like there is an incredible amount of surveillance that you can engage in with an ISP, right? And every ISP does do that. They work with the federal agencies, yada, 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 right? That's why sometimes you'll get like a notification from your ISP that says like, we've caught you watching illegal broadcasts. Like we've caught you watching fucking, I don't know, the latest Disney movie. And if you do it again, like you will be punished or whatever, right? Now, yeah, or torrenting shit. It happens. So they can do that, but they can't like intercept and infiltrate and like change the results of the vote count of like real human beings that are counting the votes. Like there is a part of this that does not make sense. Like, what are they saying? Why is they Tuesday saying at Hasanabi? I think it's kind of wild that on the one hand, we have officially reached like liberals basically saying like, fuck the Latinos, fuck the Muslims, like, fuck everybody. We're going to deport our neighbors. Like, you know, it's going to be awesome. And also on top of that, they're now doing like Blue Anon shit. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And to be quite honest with you, I'd much rather lose and people know than not do anything and sit on it, okay? This was brought to my attention yesterday from a friend of mine. His name is Mr. Wheezy, Mr. Wheezy 100, and he's an engineer. I'm not going to get into information about him, okay? And he brought this to my attention because, you know, he also understands that, you know, I have my CCIE. You know, I've been a programmer and a networker for the past almost 11 years, you know, for networking and computers and all those, you know, all those other things. With that being said, it was brought to my attention, and I'm gonna, at the end of this video, make sure you watch the whole entire thing, please post it, boost it, because I'd rather lose and, you know, lose whatever I need to in order to get the information out than to not say anything and sit on it, because I absolutely fucking refuse to be like this. This is a give back to my dad and, you know, everything that he went through. Anyways, with that being said,
not gonna lie, don't you think that this is low-hanging fruit to shit on them, considering the damage a Trump presidency will inevitably do? I know I sound like a lib right now. Wait, what? Brother, if something is just like demonstrably untrue, then I'm gonna call it out. You know, what do you mean? What my expectation is, if your expectation for me is to not tell people that they're wrong, and I do this for the left, I do this for liberals, and I always do this for the right. If your expectation is that I just like, you know, sit back and watch this like mainstreamification of unhinged conspiracy theories that Republicans engaged with in the 2020 election defeat from the side of liberals, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to feed into people's delusions. Also, and this is perhaps even more important than anything else, it's very funny. Like, and it comes from the same exact anger and resentment that people felt in the 2020 election. Like, Republicans could not cope and reckon with the reality that like their president was unpopular. They loved him. They loved him a lot. So they were like, how the fuck did our God King, how the fuck did our God King lose to a carcass? That's what they said in 2020. That's why they believed it. And the major difference here is that like no massive mainstream media outlet nor any politicians thus far are leaning into this like lib anon, blue anon conspiracies in the way that the entirety of the Republican Party leaned into it over and over and over again until it reached its final moment with January 6th. Anyway, I want to know what Mr. Wheezy had to say.
He sent me a video letting me know that California and other swing states were able to use Starlink in order to tally up and to count ballot votes or voting ballots in their state, okay? There's a multitude of issues with that, and I'm going to explain to you why. And I'll explain to you in layman's terms, because you have to understand when it comes to computer programming jargon, you guys are not going to understand what the flying F I'm fucking talking about, okay?
Yeah.
So anything that you guys don't understand or you want more clarification from, please message me. I have no problems explaining it to you. With that being said, okay, you also have to understand that when it comes to Starlink, okay, Starlink is a, you know, it's an IPv4, it's an IPv6. Basically what that means is that it's a specific satellite link-up system that sends signals to whatever it's hooked up to, doesn't matter what it is, like a normal internet connection, right? With that being said, two things. Number one, why in the flying freaking flap?
Yeah, can you imagine like Kamala Harris retweeting this woman on her personal Twitter page? Because that's what Donald Trump did for like the entire lame duck period. Okay? Just understand how fucked up that was. And hopefully this will snap you back to reality. When Donald Trump did it, it was insane. Obviously, liberals will not do the same thing. Or at least like the party will not do the same thing, even though it seems like there's a lot of appetite from liberals, at least like on the ground, organically saying, I don't believe we actually lost.
Okay, were voting fucking ballot or voting ballot boxes or whatever, the places where you go to fucking vote, why were they connected to the internet? There is absolutely zero reasons as to why those systems were connected to the internet. Those machines have absolutely no problem tallying up votes like they have done since the beginning of time. Now all of a sudden he wants to come in here and talk about, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and help you because I know, there's a lot more people voting and it's going to be difficult, this and that. There's not a lot of people that you volunteer to help, blah, 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 blah. Let me help you to tally up the votes in order to be able to help you guys. And
I'm a top tier engineer working at Google. Starlink can't do what she's saying. IPv4 is just a fucking spec. Ignore anyone using words like these. She knows she's just using computer terms people don't know to sound smart. Very 80s hacker movie shit. I just don't understand. Like, a lot of this data, I suspect, is probably encrypted. Okay? But not only that, but also like launching an initiative to literally go in, take all of this data and manipulate it, okay, in real time before it reaches like the appropriate destination is incredible work. Like, I don't think you have the capability, as far as I understand, to do that. And even if you were to have that capability, okay, there's still people on the ground that counted the fucking votes. Do you understand? Like, what do you do about that? Like, people are just gonna be like, wait a minute, like, that's not true. I am a person who was tasked with counting the paper ballots. like if she thinks that the vote machines that were connected to Starlink, which I don't think that's what happened. But if she's saying that like the vote machines were connected to Starlink, even then, like, this is an incredibly complex scheme that I don't even know if there is enough technological prowess out there to in real time change these vote machines from clicking on Kamala Harris to automatically voting for Donald Trump. And if that was the case, why wouldn't they also swap out the down ballot races? This makes no sense. Yeah, people who love being in the tank for Donald Trump also wanted Rashida Tlaib to outperform Kamala Harris by massive margins. What? My dad is an election judge in North Carolina. Y'all, come on, that man did not spend 5 hours hand counting that shit for you to try and dunk on him like this. No, your dad is in the pocket of Elon Musk. Okay, I know it. You got to show this to her, by the way. Have to? What do you mean?
And make things easier for you. Oh, what a sweetheart you are. What a sweetheart you are. But for those of us who know the business, we're not dumb. Okay?
We need gay January 6th. I need it. You are correct. Libs do not understand how proprietary files work. Elon cannot just grab a super specific file through Starlink and just change the numbers within it and then send it back to the OG receiver. Think of it as a video game save file. You need specific software to read, access, and alter data within it. Libs have lost it 100%. No, and also doing that across the board in every swing state in real time. You have to have like the greatest hackers with the proper software and working in real time, like and doing it in a way where there's no trace that remains. And also, once again, like, it's virtually impossible for you to be able to do this because I think in every state, with the exception of like Missouri or Alabama, there's still a paper receipt. So what now? There's a paper receipt for all of this. There's like a paper trace for all of the votes that were cast in every single fucking polling station. So what do you do? Anyway,
Okay.
Hold on.
So again, you have to understand that when it comes to Starlink, okay, Starlink is a tri-band FI6 system. Okay, like I said before, it sends signals to whatever it's hooked up to and bounces back and forth, and this and that. You know what I'm saying? It's a basic system, highly intelligent AI process system, right? And with that being said, it's amazing, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to take away the fact that this man is a genius, okay? And I will say that, but genius in a lot of ways. Again, with that being said, you also have to understand that when you are using a Linux operating system, which is what Starlink also is, okay? This is going to be difficult to explain, but I'll try the best that I can. When you are sending signals back and forth to expel or to read information, right? The information that's being read, it's not normal information. So in other words, it's not a normal internet connection. Like irregular internet connections, it's a broad span of all different types of fucking information. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're looking up, 50,728 fucking things that come in and out of the fucking signal and processes it and allows it to bounce back and fucking tell you whatever fucking answer that you need, right? Okay, straight. Now, with Linux systems, there is no fucking way, unless you are processing different systems and different programming to the Linux BIOS in order to fucking bounce back the information that you're getting. In other words, the information that you're getting has to be the same repetitive fucking thing. So in other words, if you're gonna process this and you're going to tally up whatever, right? It's only going to process one specific thing. In other words, so let's say you're going to separate it, right? Okay, we're only going to separate this system so that way it only reads Dem votes, or it only reads, Republican votes, or only reads, Libertarian votes, or whatever, right? To separate each one in order to count things correctly in order for that to be correct, right? No. You have to understand, Linux systems do not work that way. It is a 4x4 minim system that only fucking works bilateral base.
Dude, I believe her. The election losers are insufferable. I disagree with you, Megaphonics. I think she's right. Linux is hard to navigate. I will say this as someone who has had to use a Linux operating system on my Steam Deck. I am in agreement with this woman. I am convinced that what she is saying is correct. I've decided she brought me back. She brought me back in when she started talking about Linux. Also, believe all women. Yeah. Also, believe women. Okay? Some of you are disbelieving women, and you should be believing them instead. And that means unconditionally agreeing with everything that they're saying. Do you understand? If we're going to do this, it needs to be 100% satire. She's literally explaining why it's impossible. Modifying an encrypted signal breaks the data and results it being detected as an error and getting rejected. Is that simple? Yeah, but what if that wasn't the case? Yeah, what now? What now? Conservatives. Fucking owned. Yeah, microphallocytes. Microphallocytes are in your milk supply, which is why we have to drink raw milk only. I will force every baby in the country to drink unpasteurized raw milk.
Based on what information it's fed. One thing to bounce back. So if you're counting something, it can't separate them. Is this making sense for you? You can't separate what it's counting. So with that being said, he would have had to separate his processing system. He would have had to have sent 3 different types of gens. Gens are different operating systems that separate between the linkage signal, right? In order to switch what it's doing. So with that being said, okay, he sent it down. He read a certain amount of fucking certain votes, right? Sure, okay, that's fine. But that's not what the fuck you did. The whole entire time that you were using this system and you were using it to tally votes, you were using a Lennox system. It doesn't split. It doesn't split.
She's right. The more she yells, the more I'm convinced. Yeah. I don't know a dang thing. I don't know a dang thing about what the fuck she's talking about. I've lost the plot so many minutes ago. Okay. And I'm inclined to believe her because she said tri-band Fi6, and I think she literally just misread something that said Wi-Fi 6.
So how in the fuck were you counting things correctly when you weren't even able to separate what it was that you were counting? Is this making sense to anybody? No? Maybe? I don't, bro. I'm fucking telling you. And not only that, this is why the numbers don't make sense. This is why the numbers don't make sense. And the reason why I'm going to tell you that is because, first of all, you had guaranteed states that were going to turn blue and didn't.
Wait, what? Like, what do you mean by this? Like, what do you mean? Which states were guaranteed to turn blue and didn't turn blue? Like, at least this is the part where I do have knowledge, okay? Now we're back in my wheelhouse. And I don't understand where these people are coming from. She's a Blexis truther. I am unsubscribing yesterday. Why? Because I'm not invested heavily in the Blue Anon conspiracies that are coming out in the aftermath of this electoral defeat. My wife's entire TikTok For You page is filled with people like this. Maybe not this insane, but the general premise of someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, doing a selfie monologue, like they have any authority on subject they're discussing. That's just everything on TikTok, for the record. Also, Megaphonics subtle wife guy reveal, okay? This is like, Megaphonics did a lore dump in here out of nowhere. Megaphonics lore dump, dude. What the fuck? Okay, you ain't slick? Wow, mega marriage. Mega wife guy over here. Okay. Congrats on the sex. Even Tizzy Ant is getting into it. We are so motivated and manipulated by algorithms is crazy, dude. You could have like anybody out there. They see like one of these conspiracy theories get 100,000 likes and immediately people are like, let me look into how I can also personally say those things. Hassan, you are a grifter. You should be finding the cyber ninjas to do the recount. Yes. Marriage phonics. But wait. Oh, this is how Elon Musk. So is this actually like, is this where the conspiracies are coming from? This has 1.8 million likes. Because I have this. I've been, I wanted to watch this video for a while. Where the fuck is it? I've been meaning to watch this, but I didn't realize it was like, I didn't realize this was like a conspiracy video. I thought this was like a normal video that talks about how like Elon Musk bought Twitter and then basically turned Twitter into this like insane reactionary shithole. And that was a massive fucking faucet of right-wing content. It's not a conspiracy video. Yeah, this is like a normal video, right?
Solicited offer to buy Twitter for $44 billion. He claims the site has become politically skewed and says for Twitter to deserve public trust, it must be politically neutral. October 27th, the deal goes through. The next evening, a far-right conspiracy theorist breaks into the San Francisco home of Democrat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, intending to kidnap her. Pelosi is away.
Do I agree with Asmongold that Twitter was a great investment for Elon? I hate to admit that I had to give props to Elon for this, but I do think it's like financially, no. I mean, he bought it for 44 billion. It's now valued at like 20, right? But you have to understand something. It's not just buying Twitter, but like using Twitter as a right-wing propaganda faucet, okay? And simultaneously fully and firmly committing to Donald Trump and, trying to get him reelected has now put him in the federal government. Like this is a billionaire, the richest person on the planet, who has been the recipient of lawsuits from every single regulatory agency, okay? Every single one. And now he has complete control and influence over every single one of these regulatory agencies. It's kind of crazy. It was a perfect disaster. So shouts out to Kamala Harris. Asmongold thinks it did it intentionally. What? You got banned because you said Asmongold, I think. But Asmongold thinks it did it intentionally to gain access to the presidency. No shot he purchased and devalued Twitter significantly from the beginning. If it's true, that happened later. Yeah, no, I don't think he bought Twitter to gain access to the presidency. I think he bought Twitter. I think he bought Twitter because he was forced to buy Twitter. He didn't want to buy Twitter for an unimaginable price point because he wanted to at least have some level of control over information. For sure, right? I mean, it's a massive social media platform. It's a massive social media platform. I think he purchased it specifically because, or originally I don't even think he originally wanted to purchase it. He thought he could get out of it. Then he was forced to purchase it at this like insane price point and immediately devalued it. Having said that, in the process of devaluing it, he was like, well, you know, I'm just going to make the most of this and I'm going to use Twitter as the new 4chan, as a faucet for unrestricted right-wing content that I agree with. Okay. And that's one thing, but he could have basically gained Trump's allegiance without buying Twitter. He could have just simply, you know, been in the tank for Donald Trump from the start and given him $160 million like he did. And then he still would have had this level of access to Donald Trump. So it's not necessarily just that he bought it, like he lucked into it is what I'm trying to say. He has had an entire career of failing upwards over and over and over again. And I think this is yet another one of those instances. Everything is 4chan hate, to break it to you all, the world. I mean, yeah, there has been a 4chanification of TikTok as well. I mean, look at all the manosphere content that is like popping off on both TikTok and every other social media platform. Shit that like people used to say in black pill forums and red pill forums. Now average people use like mogging. You know what I mean? Mogging, mewing, all this stuff is just like normal lexicon. And it originated in these idiotic fucking black pill forums.
But the man attacks her husband Paul, hitting him repeatedly on the head with a hammer. Paul Pelosi escapes with his life, but requires surgery for a fractured skull. While most people take the chance to decry political violence, the new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, posts a tweet sharing an entirely false claim that Paul Pelosi was in fact injured in a drunken fight with a male.
Mewing started in bodybuilding forums? What do you mean? Yeah. Okay. Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. You're proving my point.
Prostitute with whom he was involved. Musk includes a link to a false claim on a website that has a history of publishing conspiracy theories, including a story asserting that Hillary Clinton is dead and has been replaced by a body double. Musk's post is retweeted 24,000 times before he deletes it. November 18th, Musk's Twitter starts to unlock previously banned accounts. Misogynist far-right influencer Andrew Tate was permanently banned from Twitter in 2017 after urging women to, quote, bear some responsibility for rape. Now he's back. Tate posts, I've decided to fly to the failed state of California, walk into Twitter HQ, and tell @Elon Musk he's a legend. On my way. 2 months later, Tate will be arrested in Romania on suspicion of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. December 8th, 3 members of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council resign. In their resignation letter, they cite research that found slurs against Black Americans and gay men jumped 195% and 58% respectively since Musk's takeover. 3 days later, the remaining members of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council are dismissed. Musk then tweets that, quote, my pronouns are prosecute Fauci, a reference to a conspiracy theory.
My goat, Fauci the goat. By the way, talking about fucking sore losers, look at this dumbass dude. States Harris won versus ID requirement. He's like, dude, your team won. Your team won. Why are you being a sore winner? Not to talk about being a sore loser. Sorry. Like, this is exactly what Trump did in 2016 as well, dude. Oh, my Lord. 900,000 likes. Oh, we're so cooked. We're done. We're done. This country's fucking done. It's in the tank. It's in the pooper. Throw it out. We got to do a hard reset. It's so over. You have Republicans becoming even more insane. You have Democrats also becoming more insane. It's just everyone is insane now. Once again, at 3:30 a.m., ballot dump losses a critical race in Wisconsin. Yeah, you know what state that Donald Trump won that has no photo ID requirement? Pennsylvania. Why is it not featured in this Newsmax article? You would never understand is, Hasanabi, it's the love of the game. You can't understand this because you're too in love with your own game of eating chicken every day. Okay, Michael Hastings fan. Why you got to call me out like that? I do love eating chicken every day. And in the middle attacks are theoretically possible, but I think only like the US government will be able to beat encryption. It does annoy me that Elon Musk has a security clearance while being buddies with Putin. Yeah, Elon Musk Twitter likes are fake, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's continue. Where the fuck were we? Oh, here.
That the COVID crisis was exacerbated by America's top infectious disease doctor. December 16th.
No, PA doesn't require it. That's what I'm saying. PA doesn't require it either, but Trump won Pennsylvania. So once again, they're doing the thing where there are plenty of states that don't require photo ID, okay, when you're going out to vote. But the states that Republicans won are good states. They are states where no electoral fraud happened. States where Donald Trump didn't win, they must have had some kind of voter fraud occurring. They just don't mention it.
Having claimed he's a free speech absolutist, Musk bans @ElonJet, a Twitter account that tracks the movements of his private jet using publicly available data. Musk also bans the accounts of a number of journalists who have written about @ElonJet. February 12, 2023. Ahead of the Super Bowl, both Musk and President Joe Biden tweet their support for the Philadelphia Eagles. Biden's tweet is seen 29 million times, Musk's just 9 million times. Incensed, Musk leaves the game early and calls an impromptu meeting of Twitter engineers at 2:36 a.m. Their job? To change the Twitter algorithm to artificially inflate the reach of Musk's tweets by a factor of 1,000, making him the preeminent presence on the site. July 23rd, Musk announces Twitter is now called X. August 25th, Donald Trump, once banned, returns to the platform by posting a picture of his mugshot from Fulton County Jail with the words, "Election interference."
He's such a bad bitch for this.
"Never surrender." Musk reposts the shot. 4 days later, X reverses Twitter's long-standing ban on paid political advertising. November 15th, in a post promoting the racist conspiracy theory that Jewish people are importing immigrants to America to fix elections for Democrats, one X user writes, "Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them." Musk replies saying, "You have said the actual truth." In response, several advertisers, including Disney, Warner Brothers, and Comcast, paused their advertising on X. Musk then tells advertisers concerned by hate speech on the platform,
"Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself." Is that clear?
Over subsequent months, Musk will become obsessed with the false claim that Democrats are allowing immigrants into America to create more Democratic voters, in effect, stealing the coming election, sharing the claim numerous times with his followers and pushing it to tens of millions more who choose not to follow him.
Yeah. Yeah, this video is not a conspiracy. This is just facts. Like, this is completely... I think that this video so far is, like, pretty fact-centered. Like... Elon Musk bought Twitter, was forced to buy Twitter, thought he could get out of it by pointing to the bots. He couldn't, was forced to buy Twitter. Then he was like, I'm going to make the most of this and basically turn it into a website where everybody loves me. And as the world's richest guy, he did that. He did do just that. He wiped out half of Twitter's value in the process, but it doesn't really matter because now you have this massive social media platform that you are using to basically brainwash people. This XG clip shows how insane Elon's algo is.
I'm getting fucking... Look! Oh my god! I'm about to go get some water! Brother, on my phone, on my laptop, on my PC, on my alt account, I swear to God, I every time I refresh, I get Elon Musk on my top page. That's fucking busted, brother.
Yeah, I think it's if you follow him, you're just getting blasted with that shit. Because while I do see some Elon Musk stuff every now and then, it's not as frequent. So I assume they like algo boost him pretty aggressively. So if you follow him at all, you're cooked. Like you're definitely gonna see his shit nonstop. What is this? John Green has a video exposing Musk disinfo. It's pretty good. Let's continue with this. I like this
A year
video.
later, it will be revealed that Musk, a South African immigrant, worked illegally in the U.S. in the 1990s.
For the record, I just want to point something out here. Like, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, okay? Billionaires own newspapers. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook. Billionaires own social media platforms. So for Elon Musk, the way he sees it is like, this is no different. Like, I am going to buy at least one avenue of information dissemination, and I'm going to use it to suit my purposes. The difference between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, however, is that Elon Musk is, of course, not as competent, even though both are evil. Elon Musk is not as competent as Mark Zuckerberg is. So obviously in the process, he's doing it in a very, like, he's manipulating this stuff in a very open way. Okay? That's the major difference here. He's very similar to Donald Trump in that regard, where like every rich person to a certain degree is engaging in some level of grift or is behaving like a con man. Most politicians have different methods of legalized corruption that they engage in, but Donald Trump is unique in the sense that he just does it openly, and he's not doing it in a way where he's trying to at least have plausible deniability. And Elon Musk is no different than Donald Trump in that regard, where he will just openly grift and openly engage in this charlatan behavior. So people are more tuned into it. People are more aware of it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? Because he is the richest man on the fucking planet. That's ironic. You're grifting unfounded hatred for right-wing politics, but as you mentioned, is profitable, so I guess I can't blame you. Brother, I need you to understand something here, okay? It is very important. It is infinitely easier to grift to the right. If I was a grifter and I did not actually have any sort of like real convictions, then that's what I would do. I would grift to the right. It's so much easier. It's so much more profitable to just shit on liberals. It's hilarious that you said unfounded hatred for right-wing politics, by the way. I found my hatred in that chatter's ass. Yeah, I'd say you found a hatred pretty handily. I know. I feel like you make this point every fucking day and you do shit on liberals because fuck liberals. Yeah, I make fun of liberals on a regular basis. Okay? I make fun of Republicans on a regular basis. And these guys still find it in their fucking fifis. Like, this content so far, with the exception of the Elon Musk stuff that we're covering right now, started off with me criticizing liberals for believing unfounded conspiracies because they can't cope with the reality that the Democrats lost. Right? But you're a bit of a grifter too, though. In what regard? In what regard? I had these exact same opinions when I was broke. I have these exact same opinions now. Okay? That's it. The only thing that changed is not my positions, but my financial circumstances. That's it. I think many of you just don't simply understand what grifting means. Okay? Like, for example, when you get paid by Tenet Media, which is a cutout for the Russian state, okay, and you start talking about how Ukraine is the biggest enemy of mankind, that's a grift. That's a grift. Your unfounded hatred for Nazis annoys me. What did they do wrong? Where is the civility? Like, how the fuck do I grift, but I'm also not, like, for example, pro-Israel, okay? That's the greatest avenue to shield myself from any sort of real, tangible, not only criticisms, but like real, tangible and consequential operations of like trying to smear me as an anti-Semite and coming after me and trying to get me banned off this fucking platform. If it was a grifter post October 7, I would have hit a centrist position on it and moved on. Okay? But that was not my opinion. That was not my position. So I was very honest, brutally honest, as a matter of fact. And directly as a consequence of that, I literally lost a third of my audience, but it didn't matter. And I kept it up for an entire fucking year. Yeah, grifting, but didn't run ads during the election. Now, I still maintain the position that I might in the future, but you can still subscribe if you want to support me. When people come in here and they say you're grifting, wait, the Vanity Fair article came out and it says I'm in, I stream on Rumble. Wait, what the fuck? Uh-oh, let me make sure that they fix that. Yeah, I'm on the latest Vanity Fair article. Oh crap! How do we bypass the paywall here, chat? Can Democrats compete with the Rogan verse? As podcasters and YouTubers help deliver the bro vote to Donald Trump, Democrats are facing criticism for not engaging enough with non-traditional media on the right or elevating voices on the left. Disable JavaScript. It's not going to work. Let's see. Okay. On election night, Parker was the only left-leaning streamer to rank in the top 10 on Rumble. Wait, what? I'm not a Rumble streamer. Hold on. I'll try to get it corrected. Okay. I want to thank the Nelk boys. We'll do this article in a little bit. Let's just finish this video first, and then we'll get back to this article.
November 25th, on X, Musk boosts the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. A long-debunked claim alleging high-profile Democrats ran a pedophile abuse ring from a Washington pizza restaurant. March 25th, 2024. Musk loses a lawsuit against the Center for Countering Digital Hate. He'd sued them after they flagged a rise in hate speech after Musk bought Twitter. In his ruling, a U.S. district judge calls Musk's case vapid and says this case is about punishing the defendants for their speech.
If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe for $6 or for free with the Twitch Prime, or you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. That way you can send me some links. Also, announcement time. I unlocked the VODs. It was subscription only for the past 2 days, but I unlocked it because there was a lot more chatters than I thought out there that were using VODs to watch. Like, I didn't realize that people just straightforwardly watch Twitch via VODs. So I was like, fuck it. The reason why I had paywalled it is so that, you know, if you wanted to go through all the VODs and the chat and everything else to comb through each individual chatter. It was an effort to like try to protect you guys, to add another hurdle in front of haters who spent every waking moment cross-referencing the chat and trying to find anything they can to be like, this guy is a bad guy, this guy's anti-Semitic or whatever the fuck, which is really, really, really insane. And I thought, well, we already have YouTube. We already have like the YouTube Hasanabi Clips Industrial Complex where they upload those VODs there anyway. It's not owned or operated by me at all, by the way. So I thought it should be fine. And it turns out, you know, there were still people who there were still a significant number of people who were utilizing the VODs to watch. So I did not want to, I didn't want to randomly cook people who don't have enough money to subscribe. No, they don't put up the full VODs on YouTube. They clip. No, they do. I thought they did. So yeah, but subscribing is one way to show support to the channel, while also simultaneously it allows you to send me links still and use the emotes across the platform. So yeah, pretty sure there are YouTube VOD channels. They do put the full VODs. I started watching you there on Twitch thanks to seeing full VODs on YouTube. Yeah. But even then, people still wanted to watch on Twitch. I don't know why, but yeah, Hasanabi VODs puts up the full VODs a day after. It's usually a day late, but they still do it.
2024, Musk creates a political action committee which he calls America PAC. Its objective is to mobilize 1 million Republican voters in swing states in an effort to hand the election to Trump. Musk commits to putting tens of millions of dollars of his own money into the Get Out the Vote push and clears his calendar every Friday morning for 30 to 60 minutes to meet with the team he's assembled to run the effort. July 14th, Musk calls Trump on behalf of J.D. Vance, urging Trump to select Vance as his running mate. Vance says abortion is murder and insults women who haven't become mothers.
A bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
I'm new here. I just saw some Dan posts about you on Twitter, but wanted to make an opinion for myself. I watched a bit of your content. I think a lot of your rhetoric comes off crazy to the average viewer without context. But I do think that you played a small role in tipping the scales a little bit with the size of your platform. Just an honest thought. Thanks, man. Well, you're wrong, but it's a good start for you that you also recognize that like the things that you watched were devoid of context coming from a person who was specifically tasked with, smearing me. So you are, I think, on like, don't attack this person for the record. Like ultimately, Dan is Destiny's second in command, his podcast co-host. He's the one who's been spearheading the let's get Hassan banned stuff. Dan himself has also personally Dan himself has also personally admitted that he's doing all of this just to troll, and hopefully in this like weird twisted logic, he thinks that Destiny will get unbanned from the platform if they harass Twitch hard enough. Has Dan ever championed anti-Semitic rights in the past, or is he using it as a vehicle? I don't know. I mean, there are logs between Destiny and Dan where Destiny says things like G word, the Jews. I'm not going to say it even. So I don't think that they care about anti-Semitism all that much, especially considering that Destiny has revitalized the career of prominent neo-Nazi, prominent anti-Semite, Holocaust denier Nicholas Fuentes. Destiny has also platformed Sam Hyde, who is, again, another neo-Nazi and a pedophile. So I don't know if they truly care about anti-Semitism while they simultaneously collaborate and collude with neo-Nazis. For you, oh, here, yeah.
It's sad because I've dedicated the last 2 weeks of my life basically to Steve's cause.
What? Which one? You're talking about the Twitch thing?
Yeah, destroying Twitch.
I thought that was more your thing than...
What the fuck do I care about Twitch? I'm not banned there.
I thought you cared because they were like anti-Semitic and being weird.
Nah, it's just fun.
Oh, okay. I care. I thought you cared, bro.
I mean, I care that I want to win. I care that it would be fucking awesome and funny if I won.
It would be awesome and funny.
It would be fucking hysterical if a company... Imagine if we trolled a CEO out of his job.
Yeah. There's a further cut where Dan says he's joking, but our relevant still doesn't get it and looks super awkward and is dying of cringe. Yeah, I mean, I know he says he's joking, but he said it on numerous occasions, including when they first started the fucking mass letter writing campaign to advertisers, where he was like, come on, guys, think about how sick that would be. I went down the right-wing pipeline for a while, listened to a lot of Jordan Peterson and Stephen Crowder, but in the last 6 months, I've had a full 180 politically and engaging with your political commentary and leftist outlook on our role in society has helped immensely inform my opinions as I went into this election to vote for the first time. Many thanks. That's why I do what I do, chatter. Thanks for that context. When Asmongold said he'd host him for exposing on anti-Semitism, I thought it was strange. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that was really funny. Asmongold's like, oh, if Twitch doesn't get his shit in order, I'll have Dan on. Like, oh no. Oh no, dude. Oh no. Anyway, watch out. Watch out, Amazon. I don't think so anymore since D called Asmon the R word for the Elon buying Twitter take. I don't know what the fuck goes on there. I don't really give a shit. Let's continue.
Musk's phone call is part of a broad effort by Silicon Valley billionaires to ensure Vance is selected. The next day, Vance is unveiled as Trump's vice presidential candidate. September 6th, Trump says that if he wins, he will appoint Musk to head up a government efficiency commission.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
The idea came from Musk, whose companies are currently facing at least 20 federal investigations. If he gets the role, it would give the world's richest man the power to regulate the regulators who hold sway over his companies. Last year alone, his companies were promised $3 billion across nearly 100 different contracts with 17 federal agencies. Yep. September 9th, Musk spreads a conspiracy theory that immigrants in Ohio are eating people's pets. The following day, Trump repeats the slur during the presidential debate with Kamala Harris.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
The false claim leads to multiple bomb threats against the Springfield immigrant community. September 15th and 16th. Over a single weekend, Musk amplifies a conspiracy theory that ABC leaked sample debate questions to the Harris campaign, falsely claims that the Dems want to take your kids, further fuels racist lies about immigrants eating pets, shares with his nearly 200 million followers on X that Trump must win to, quote, preserve freedom and meritocracy in America, and insinuates that it is suspicious that no one is even trying to assassinate Biden and Kamala, adding a thinking face emoji. The U.S. Secret Service confirms that it is aware of the post. The White House issues a statement saying violence should only be condemned.
This man is a defense contractor, dude. And he gets billions of dollars of subsidies from the federal government. But because he's the wealthiest man on the planet, he can just straight up say that and not even face a little bit of repercussions. What an incredible moment in time. Just unimaginable shit.
Condemned, never encouraged or joked about. This rhetoric is irresponsible. October 4th.
And y'all laughed at him for buying Twitter. I mean, yeah, it was chatter. Elon Musk purchasing Twitter would have been a spectacular defeat if the Democratic Party actually fucking ran a good campaign and Donald Trump did not win the election. Like, we are now talking about how lucky he got. He got lucky. He was forced into buying Twitter, used it as a fucking massive propaganda faucet for the most unrestricted, unfiltered right-wing comments and commentary you've ever seen. Neo-Nazi shit runs amok on the website. And it would have been a disaster. And he still hasn't necessarily like profited off of it at all. Elon Musk could have not bought Twitter and still been in the tank for Donald Trump. And that would have been favorable for him in the same exact way if Donald Trump won. So we're basically giving him credit for something that he did not design. Okay? I'm doing a subathon like Kai Cenat to raise money for this. Okay.
Fourth, Musk posts, unless Trump wins and we get rid of the mountain of smothering regulations that have nothing to do with safety, humanity will never reach Mars. This is existential. Musk is the owner of SpaceX and stands to make billions from US government space contracts. October 5th, the user handle @America is taken from an ex-user and given by Musk to his America PAC. That evening, he joins the former president on stage in Pennsylvania, jumping about wildly.
Fight, 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 vote, vote, vote.
By now, he's moved with his senior team to a war room in a hotel in Pennsylvania to focus full-time on the Trump campaign. He speaks to Trump multiple times a week, is doing a series of pro-Trump town halls across the state, and has recruited lieutenants from his companies to join him. October 15th, legal filings from Musk's Political Action Committee show he has personally donated at least $75 million to the effort to re-elect Trump. October 18th, it's revealed that another Musk-funded group called Future Coalition PAC is targeting Muslim voters in Michigan and Jewish voters in Pennsylvania with diametrically opposed political advertisements about Kamala Harris. In areas with large Muslim...
Like, this is the type of shit that would not have worked if the top line message here was consistent and clear. Do you understand what I mean? If Kamala Harris had a well-established position that separated herself from Joe Biden's very unpopular position on Israel, then none of this shit would have worked. It would have just been noise, background noise. People would have literally presented this as like, yeah, they're trying to rat fuck the campaign. It's obviously not working because like everybody understands what Kamala Harris's clear-cut position is. They allowed this weakness, allowed people like Donald Trump to be able to successfully message. Because it's not like what they were presenting was wrong, okay? But you also need to acknowledge the influence Twitter had on the election. No, because the American population's Twitter usage has gone down since Elon Musk's purchase, okay? Even if it's all like right-wing shit, it still doesn't change that reality. Like it was, I think at its peak performance in the past, when it was quote unquote liberal, it was like 20% of the American public used Twitter. It's not as readily used at all. It's just, and it's gone down significantly since then. 20% is a lot, but it's not that anymore. That's my point. The signifier white guy tier list and you're in F tier? Aw.
Muslim populations, the group is painting Harris as a close friend of Israel and is suggesting that she's beholden to the beliefs of her Jewish husband. But in areas with large Jewish populations, the ads say Harris panders to Palestine.
Oh, by the way, that was like really fucking incredibly anti-Semitic too. I remember looking at those. I was in A tier. Nice. He put you in A tier. That chatter was lying. There's start drama. It's not going to ever. There's never going to be drama between me and FD Signifier. I love him and I agree with everything he says. So even if he were to have placed me in F tier, I would have said, you know, you got to take it. It is what it is.
Simultaneously, Musk is offering $100 to any Pennsylvania voter who signs his online petition as part of an effort to build a list of likely Trump voters. He also starts giving away $1 million a day to a randomly chosen voter who signed the petition. October 19th, it's revealed that the Building America's Future PAC, another Musk-funded campaign group, is impersonating the Harris campaign by setting up a fake website containing fake policy positions, then sending out text messages driving voters to the fake site. October 24th, it's revealed that Musk gave his America PAC a further $44 million in the first 16 days of October.
Like, he could have done all this and still gotten the same level of access from Trump. Purchasing Twitter, you didn't need to do that, is what I mean. You didn't need to purchase Twitter and then tank its fucking valuation by half. How was any of that legal, lol? Hello? We live in the United States of America. If you're rich, you can do whatever the fuck you want, okay? If you're wealthy, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
October 25th.
Who's going to prosecute him? He runs the government now. Who's going to prosecute him?
The Wall Street Journal reports that Musk has been in regular contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin since 2022. October 27th, Musk speaks at the now infamous Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, a gathering characterized by racism, misogyny.
ICC, yeah, good luck, dude. The ICC can't even fucking stop Israel. What the fuck? Yeah, that's why the applications for the warrants of arrest of war criminals in the Israeli government have still yet to be filed. I mean, the applications have been filed, but they haven't gone through. And that's not America. That's Israel. That's America's attack dog, okay, in the region.
And threats of violence.
USA!
Yeah.
Musk has posted more than 3,000 times on X in the last month, including dozens of unfounded claims about the election, which have been viewed hundreds of millions of times. Apart from Trump himself, Musk is now the single biggest spreader of election disinformation. November 5th, Trump wins the presidential election. Elon Musk, a far-right conspiracy theorist, has succeeded in using his immense wealth to help swing the election in favor of a convicted felon.
Led by donkeys are frustrating because they'll go on about conservatives but say nothing about liberals in the US or UK, Labor and the government, and they're still going on about Liz Truss. Yeah. Ugh. What a shitty situation, man. What a shitty situation we have found ourselves in. Holy moly. Anyway, going back to the Lebanon stuff, though, or Blue Anon, there's a lot going on. Breaking, California voters could overturn Trump's election night national popular vote win and give it to Harris. Harris can still win the national popular vote from Trump. That's neither here nor there. And I don't think that's going to happen regardless. But I think I've said this before. I think California's results will surprise you. And also, who cares? I'm glad Elon is in this position. He does a lot of good for the world, not just America. And him being in this position accelerates that. I think you should be studied by scientists. Like, your brain should be studied by scientists if you genuinely think that Elon Musk is doing a lot of good for the world. I suspect it's bait at the top of the hour because this chatter thinks that there's a 3-minute ad break coming and he wanted to bait me into serving it, but there is no 3-minute ad break. However, you can still subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub if you are lucky. That way you can send me links and use emotes and clip certain things as well. Read a nice comment. Thank you, Hassan. Post. Being raised Jewish, I had the idea that an attack on Israel is an attack on the Jewish faith. Your content deprogrammed me to see that Zionism is not Judaism. I'm now a member of the local DSA and proudly say, not in our name. Hell yeah, save Bay. Let's go. This is why, in spite of all the fucking stupidity, I do what I do, for the record. It's gross that people still try to claim that I am harboring anti-Semites or am a secret supporter of anti-Semitism. It's fucking insane. Anyway, but I'm in marketing at a massive company and my execs are getting emails complaining about anti-Semitism. I've been requested to pause spend, but I'm trying to resist. All right, Elon Musk is a right-wing loony, and we already know that. Speaking of right-wing loony, I got a Vanity Fair article written about myself. What is this? New Politico article? Why are you sending me just like random articles? People are really using that linking privileges for whatever the fuck they see fit, it seems. Anyway, I want to thank the Nelk boys, Eden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bussin' with the boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan, the UFC CEO Dana White, when handed the microphone during Donald Trump's victory speech on election night. Rather than shout out a slew of Republican senators, White singled out a handful of popular podcasts and influencers who arguably had more to do with Trump taking the stage at about 2:30 a.m. than your run-of-the-mill politician in Washington. White's remarks spoke to the Trump's campaign's savvy media strategy courting large male audiences and was a harbinger of the Democrats' needed Joe Rogan discourse that has followed the party's resounding defeat. In conversations I've had since prominent voices on the right and the left, as well with journalists steeped in internet culture, it's clear that Democrats need to engage more effectively through non-traditional media. And while there are opportunities for the party to connect, there's also no quick fix to match a right-leaning male-centric media ecosystem or manosphere that's growing with the MAGA megaphone. The shift has been happening for literal years, says Taylor Lorenz, a tech journalist and the author of the book Extremely Online. You can look at the evolution of something like Barstool Sports, which is part of this as well. The right has always succeeded in personality-driven environments. They recognized back in the 90s, in the days of talk radio, that personality-driven media is just far more effective at reaching people and promoting their message. She also points to the sports, gaming, and YouTube prank culture as subtle ways that young people were gradually exposed to increasingly conservative ideology. Lorenz, who produces an online culture publication on Substack, User Mag, says that the content space leans right because the people who created the environment have always felt shut out from traditional media channels, Hollywood, and mainstream pop culture, which they feel is controlled by liberals. In the final stretch of the 2024 election, Trump appeared on numerous podcasts and live streams, including the Joe Rogan Experience this past weekend with Theo Vaughn, Full Send, and more, while stiff-arming the mainstream media. J.D. Vance also appeared on Rogan's show, as did Elon Musk. Trump's 18-year-old son, Barron, has been credited with encouraging such appearances, which allowed the president-elect to reach a younger demographic in a more conversational and even meandering manner, a far cry from policy-driven Sunday show interview. As a result, conservative host Candace Owens tells me the public was able to access a different side of Trump, and that's what people want to see. Owens claims that 90% of mainstream media is basically dismissing the people on the right. They communicate in that way with piety and arrogance, and people are just tired of it, she adds, arguing that the right is winning the independent media space because they foster more human conversations. Don Lemon, a former CNN anchor who's drawn praise for his man on the street videos around the country this election cycle, tells me that Trump has realized smartly the impact that streaming, digital, and social can have on a very much waning traditional corporate old school media. Meanwhile, Harris's campaign, he says, really missed out on that. She's a much more vibrant young person than Trump, Lemon argues. She's not a sourpuss. She's not a sourpuss, and those people wanted to embrace her, specifically referencing black independent media. There's so many places, sort of center left people who are just not in that crazy right-wing white boy bro space that she could have gone on to. Lamont suggests that Harris's campaign was simply too cautious, concerned by which podcast hosts could cause unwanted controversy, when they could have been tapping into the online ecosystem. The rules are different, he says, noting that shouldn't have been a concern for Democrats when Trump surrounded himself with people who spout off on a daily basis conspiracy theories and far-right talking points. One voice on the left who has achieved similar success in audience growth, according to Lorenz, is Hassan Piker, a streamer, influencer, and political talker who provides an alternative to hyper-masculine Trump boosters while remaining culturally relevant. On election night, Piker was the only left-leaning streamer to rank top 10 on Rumble, a YouTube competitor backed by Peter Thiel. So this part is wrong, and I hope they fix that, because I'm not a Rumble streamer. Anyway, in the rankings, Piker at number 3 is flanked by conservative talkers like Dan Bongino, Steven Crowder, Patrick Bet David podcast, which featured Owens, Charlie Kirk, and Tucker Carlson. Piker in an interview identifies different strands of commentary on the right, from the more explicitly political propaganda outlets like The Daily Wire to the centrist content circuit, pointing to podcasts Trump has appeared on like Vaughn's this past weekend. Vaughn is not an overt right-winger, he says, adding that Rogan falls somewhere in between there, but has recently become this right-wing guy who went from endorsing Bernie Sanders in 2020 to endorsing Donald Trump in 2024. Notably, Sanders appeared on Rogan's show during the 2020 Democratic primary campaign and seemingly won over the support of the host, which led to criticism from some on the left, given Rogan's controversial comments, including regarding transgender athletes. On Sunday, Sanders recalled being vilified for going on Rogan's show, while urging the Democrats to not ignore the alternative media out there. The backlash against Sanders' appearance 4 years ago helped to further exile this burgeoning online content space from the Democratic Party. Piker tells me that he feels as though economic populism on the left is in line with Sanders' platform has been shunned by the party establishment, causing the left-learning media ecosystem to be stunted while right-wing content exploded, flooding the zone. When you actively run away from that sort of messaging because you're worried about the donor support diminishing or something, well then yeah, you're going to have a very hard time developing a network of content creators that have organically created a following, he says. Piker's success stems from the wide range of his content, from video game streaming — he played Among Us on live stream in 2020 with the Progressive Democratic Representatives AOC and Ilhan Omar — to collaborations with other creators, to political and news content. They are building culture shows. They're not building political shows, Lorenz says. It is subtly political. It's just not like shoving it down your throat, and you're not even aware that you're consuming it, she adds. And Piker stresses that Rogan did not become a right-wing operative because they gave him money. He got there organically. Piker, however, worries that the lesson Democrats will take from this election is that they need 10 to 15 Pod Save Americas out there. While Piker has appeared on Pod Save America, and he says he respects the work that they do, he argues, we need something that goes beyond that truly reflects the values of a lot of people within the base, and isn't inherently connected to the Democratic Party institution. Pod Save America is hosted by former Obama staffers and veteran Democratic operatives Jon Favreau, John Lovett, Dan Pfeiffer, and Tommy Vitor. Vitor, for one, has argued in recent days that the Democratic Party's media problem isn't simply that it lacks its own Joe Rogan, but that Republicans have invested tons of money and time into building a right-wing media ecosystem. while his party treats progressive outlets as an afterthought. This part is true. I agree with Vitor on this. Notably, Vitor pointed out both President Joe Biden and Harris Walt's campaign snubbed the podcast in 2024. While Trump continues to elevate right-leaning independent media through engaging with it, Piker says, there is no such back-and-forth relationship on the left, as Democrats flock to the more insular mainstream media. Without a direct line of communication to the base, the streamer argues, Democrats will continue to lag behind their opponents in the online world. I got a normie-ass brother, plays COD, watches multiple sports, and sometimes tunes into politics. He says he's willing to hear out Kamala when she was talking about going after price gouging, but then tuned all that shit out when she aligned herself with Biden. I feel like that shit is such a major blow in her campaign. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand that there is, I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I've been saying that there's like different tiers of right-wing content. You have the center to center-right commentary that is not immediately political, right? Even though it features a lot of right-wing sentiment in it, right? People who complain constantly about like DEI and video games and whatnot, those guys aren't like political operatives in the same way that Daily Wire is, right? They're not. They're just not. But there's cross-pollination between this massive circuit of content creators. And that pipeline directly goes all the way to fucking Fox News, because there is no value divergence between Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire, who is a right-wing operative, who is a political content creator specifically, right? And someone at Fox News. And as a matter of fact, Ben Shapiro will routinely appear on Fox News. There is a consistent legitimization of independent right-wing media and you know, mainstream right-wing media at Fox News. So when those guys then become a prominent fixture in the center, or rather, quote unquote, apolitical, but socially somewhat conservative media circuit online, right? In independent media and podcasts and whatnot, they are presented as a solid alternative to mainstream media while still repping mainstream media positions, like mainstream right-wing positions. There is no such equivalent on the left. It does not exist. There is no media ecosystem that will have someone like myself on fucking CNN or MSNBC on a regular basis and offer me legitimacy and say, this is our guy. We agree with his opinions. Just like my opinions in MSNBC or CNN or ABC, CBS, like their perspective on the world is almost diametrically opposed to one another. Whereas Fox News' perspective and the things that they say on Fox News are damn near identical to the things that Ben Shapiro says, are damn near identical to the things that Charlie Kirk says. Okay? People misunderstand. You cannot take the role of this on the left. The point is it's mostly organic. Exactly. Like, I am someone who has these positions, and I have become successful individually. Okay? I did not become successful like Charlie Kirk, for example, who got uplifted by the right-wing media ecosystem instantly. Charlie Kirk wrote a piece for his like high school or something, right? When he didn't get into, when he wasn't able to get into his college of choice, I believe it was like Annapolis, if I'm not mistaken. He wrote an article about how, like, you know, a black person took his place, and then Breitbart posted that article, and then immediately after that, they literally fucking brought him on Fox News. He took that immediate boost of influence and legitimacy to right-wing, to major right-wing donors, Foster Friess specifically, who's dead now, and said, I want to start Turning Point USA. I want to start an organization that basically lobbies student body governments, both in high school and in college, because there's a lot of woke shit happening there. Okay? Now, he straight up has direct access to Donald Trump. This was my Republican counterpart in 2016 when we were debating, okay? Or even before then. We would go on Politicon and we would debate one another. Back then, we were considered like the you know, he was the right-wing version, I was the leftist version, okay? And there was no way that I was ever going to meet Barack Obama in the way that Charlie Kirk was immediately brought into the Republican Party's operations in a direct fashion and got access to the likes of Donald Trump, who became president. So not only do I not play ball with the Democratic Party because I am at odds with a lot of the values that they espouse. Okay. And that divergence exists within the base of the party and the actual party itself, which makes it harder to create like a reliable media ecosystem. Okay. But also, like, even if they were to try and create a similar thing and flood the market with like party loyalists, the top line messaging is at odds with the things that people want. Okay. Do you feel like the purity culture of the left makes it hard for organic personalities to take root? You've said it yourself, how much easier it'd be to be a conservative commentator because you've been canceled how many times before? Yeah, but cancellations are not fucking real. That's the point. That's why I always tell people to ignore the noise. Okay. Yes, the left is very fucking annoying. Okay. They are. It is what it is. Okay. You got to do what you got to do. A lot of people mistake like even their own consumption for, I don't know, some kind of like political moral position that they're engaging in. But it does not matter. That's why I have consistently for the past 6 years that I've been doing this on Twitch openly told rad libs to shut the fuck up whenever they chirp about like this person is committing a microaggression, or what you said I misunderstood and now I'm going to yell at you. Or, Hassan, why do you have right-wingers on your show? Or, Hassan, why do you go on a right-wing podcast? And it's like, I do that because I want my message to reach as broad an audience as possible. And if I were to listen to some of the biggest woke scolds in my community at the time, when I had 35 people watching or when I had 350 people watching, okay, ultimately, I would have just stayed there. And this would not be the largest pro-trans community online. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to not listen to your naysayers, even if you are ideologically aligned with them. That's it. That's it. That's why I regularly yell at people who, for example, deny people's capacity to change. Okay? I think it's silly. I think it's stupid. And I think we always have to be as charitable as we possibly can, especially if someone is on a journey of learning and changing their minds. Leftists understand that people are not born intrinsically bigoted. Okay? They're not. Bigotry is learned through social conditioning. So if you understand that we are products of a bigoted environment, then you have to be a little bit more understanding when people come in and are confused and are asking questions genuinely and want to learn. This is why I regularly will yell at people who chirp at me and others who are also on their own personal journey, who have been indoctrinated into believing right-wing shit. That's it. I think that is perhaps one of the biggest reasons why this community is so large. Okay? And there are plenty. For example, I use trans rights. Okay? I'm uncompromising when it comes to defending marginalized identities, including but not limited to trans people. And there have been many instances where trans people online have yelled at me for not being sufficiently pro-trans. If I were to listen to them, okay, and not do what I do regardless, then this would not be a fun space for every single person, including trans people, that was so large, okay? It just wouldn't. It's okay. Your allies who are directly from the marginalized groups that you speak on might not sometimes understand what your position is, but it does not matter. Okay? You just have to be open-minded to people. You have to be charitable, and you have to allow people to learn and put your best foot forward. And you have to always be uncompromising in your values, not the way you present yourself. Okay? Just on your overall value system. That's it. How much charity have you done? Dude, I don't fucking know. A lot. Hassan, 0 pull, 0 clout, so no pay for play. I learned it from Hassan. Hassan is trans confirmed. How much charity have you done? A shit ton. But I don't even fucking know the extent of it. Let's be real. Anyway, Sabbath, do you think you might actually be the maximum possible outcome for a leftist media outlet given the inherent contradictions? No. Yeah, purity tests overall are stupid. A lot of people also personally, and this is something I've seen quite a bit, people write out others who are allies because they have disagreements on one issue or another. Okay? And that's very frustrating. People will come in here and be like, oh, well, what do you think about Majority Report saying this? Or FD Signifier said that. Or Chapo said this, yada, yada, yada. Mike from PA said that. I don't entertain it. And the reason for why I don't entertain it is because it's inherently unproductive to engage in infighting when the left holds no power whatsoever, which is another reason why I always say, look to who people present as their enemies. Okay? If someone claims to be progressive, but also simultaneously is, defending Israel's genocide, for example, or defending white people's right to say the N-word, and then spends a whole ordeal, spends a good bit of time, fighting left-wing content creators, and even often finds themselves directly aligning with the likes of Ben Shapiro even, or prominently features neo-Nazis that have fallen out of favor, and offers them a lifeline for their careers, be very careful with how progressive they actually are. Okay? That's it.
Damn, this guy's good.